What is going on, guys? The Rose here, and welcome back to the Game Corner podcast. This time it's a Game Corner Pocket, episode 27. And today I got a couple of things for you, as well as I want to go over the Final Fantasy 25th anniversary little showcase they did yesterday. I also want to talk a little bit about the Gran Turismo movie and Lollipop Chainsaw. That came out of left field, you know? So let's start off with the Gran Turismo story, based on a true story of a teenage gamer who has gone from PlayStation Gran Turismo gamer to real life race car driver. This movie is set to premiere on August 11th, 2023. The article this here I take from Polygon.com says the long gesturing film based on PlayStation's Gran Turismo series of racing games looks like it's finally happening. Sony Pictures has announced the release date of August 11th, 2023, which is a Friday, for the film. The film, called simply Gran Turismo, is set to be directed by District 9's Neil Blomkamp. Sony also supplied a plot summary for the movie. The plot of the film goes based on a true story. I already said this pretty much. Based on a true story. The film is the ultimate wish fulfillment tale of a teenage Gran Turismo player whose gaming skills won a series of Nissan competitions, that being the Nissan GT Academy, a series that was going on every year for quite a little while. I honestly don't know if it's still going, but yeah, so this person won the Nissan competition to become a real professional race car driver. This is not the first time, of course, that a Gran Turismo movie was pitched. Back in 2013, it was said that a Gran Turismo movie was in the works, and that one was also based on a race car, a person becoming a race car driver. Mr. What the hell's his name? It was just in my head. Here it is. Lucas Ordonez. The movie was going to be based on Lucas Ordonez, a Spanish driver who graduated from Gran Turismo and the Nissan GT Academy competition, and who would become a real life racing driver at the Le Mans in the GT series, in the Grand Touring series. So, 10 years later, this movie's finally going to come out. Now, I don't truly know how to feel about this movie. I don't know how strong the plot is going to be for this movie. I don't know. It sounds to me like it's going to be a kind of like a documentary kind of movie. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. It doesn't yet to me sound like a movie I'm going to run out to theaters and see. It's certainly not a. It certainly doesn't sound like a movie based on racing and driving fast cars. You know, when you think of that, you think of like Fast and Furious, or even the Need for Speed movie that came out quite a while ago. This is going to be seemingly much different than that. Definitely going to see how it goes. I really don't know. So, yeah, that's that. August 11th, 2023. Again, that is a Friday. Also, we got the plot details. Let me know what you guys think of that. Because to me, it doesn't sound very strong, at least in my opinion. Next up, guys, Lollipop Chainsaw is apparently coming back. So this article from GameSpot says that Lollipop Chainsaw is coming back, and this time it is going to be handled by Dragami Games. A new company started just a month ago, actually, by the CEO Yoshimi Yasuda. Yoshimi Yasuda. He announced on Twitter. I would show you the tweet normally, but this tweet's pretty much all in Japanese. Um, it was loosely translated, so he says on Twitter, and I quote the translation: "Lollipop Chainsaw is back by Dragami Games. Please look forward to it." GameSpot says what he means is unclear. It could potentially be a remake or a remaster for newer consoles. It could also be a sequel to the first game. The game came out 10 years ago. It came out around the tail end of the PS3 and the Xbox 360's life cycle, before the PS4 and Xbox One came out. Game was really cool, man. It was fun, short but fun. If this, whatever form this game is, I welcome it, because I really enjoyed the game for what it was. It says, according to VGC, Yoshida was previously the CEO of Katakawa Games, which he worked for 14 years. Katakawa Games also published Lollipop Chainsaw, which was developed by Grasshopper, a manufacturer. Last month, Yoshida left Katakawa Games and started Dragami Games. Let's see. Lollipop Chainsaw released back in June of 2012. So actually, it wasn't really the tail end. It was within like the last year or so of the 360 and PS3's life cycle. The game was really fun. I mean, I of course don't know. We don't know what it's going to be. Either way, I welcome it. It was 2 console generations ago. It was 10 years ago. I think a game like that, I think it's worth a remaster. I think it's time, like, I don't feel like PS4 games that have only come out like 5, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, whatnot. Games like that, when I see them get so many different remasters, it's annoying. Kind of like The Last of Us, how that's getting a complete remake after a remaster. So that game went from PS3 to PS4 remaster to now PS5 remake. Into what's being called Last of Us Part 1. That I don't agree with. However, Lollipop Chainsaw being from a console generation, I believe that's the 7th generation of game consoles, and it did not receive a last gen remaster. This would be a cool remaster. Also, I could see the game being completely reworked. Obviously, keeping the same premise, maybe changing the story up a little bit, and make it a reboot or a remake. I could see that happening as well. A sequel seems to be, to me, least likely because of how old the game is, and it seemed like there was no interest in continuing Lollipop Chainsaw as a series afterwards, since once the game came out and the people that played it, played it. I played it in 2013. I remember Seamus, SSOHPKC, playing it. He was the biggest inspiration as to why I even have this channel. And I saw him play it. I'm like, man, this game's pretty cool. So I decided to get it and play it for myself. A couple of things, though. Regardless of what this is, if it's a remaster or a remake, or even a sequel, if it happens to be some kind of sequel, it needs to be longer than the original game. The game was one of those games that can be beaten in like 4 hours. It was pretty short. When you think of a game that can be beaten 4 hours or less, you think of games that came out in the 90s, whether it was PlayStation, N64, Sega, Super Nintendo, whatever. You think of games like that can be beaten in a few hours. Lollipop Chainsaw is a really short game. Also, I really would hope Tara Strong voices Juliet Starling again because I thought she was fantastic in the role. Hope the gameplay style stays the same as a hack and slash game. I think the weapon being a chainsaw, I think that's pretty cool. Kind of like a big reference to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, only instead of killing living beings, you're killing zombies and whatnot. I think it's pretty cool. It's a fun game. So if you, for whatever reason, have never played the original Lollipop Chainsaw, I think it's a game that's definitely worth looking into and checking it out. Whatever this new Lollipop Chainsaw game becomes, again, whether it's a remake, remaster, or whatever, it needs to be longer. And I would hope that Tara Strong plays Juliet again, and that the gameplay style, stays the same. Some tweaks, some tweaks to the gameplay and whatnot, but roughly keep it the same. So now, guys, I want to talk to you guys about the 25th anniversary of Final Fantasy VII. Square Enix did a little celebration yesterday. It aired at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube for me. I watched it, and I thought the presentation was pretty interesting. They showed off some cool stuff, and I don't know how the last two announcements, or at least the very last announcement, didn't make the internet explode. And I'll get to that in a minute. So they came out and of course it was all in Japanese, so it was English subbed. Can I just say real quick, y'all need to take a lesson from Nintendo when you're doing these kinds of showcases. If you're going to have primarily Japanese speaking people doing your showcase, have an English translator dub over the presentation like Nintendo does. I think that's really neat. Sonic, when they were doing like the Sonic Station or Sonic Stadium presentations last year, they didn't do that. Sony's State of Play, they don't always do it. Nintendo's like the only ones that does. They always dub over their Nintendo Directs when they need to, which is really cool. But so they came out on stage. They thanked everybody for supporting Final Fantasy series and basically, making Final Fantasy VII basically their best game in the series, and certainly their most popular game in the series, because boy, did they give some special treatment to this game. Final Fantasy VII originally got 3 different games out of Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core and Final Fantasy VII Dirge of Cerberus. Those were the games that came out 25 years ago, and they kicked off the actual presentation showing off the Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, which came out on PS5 last year. It is now on Steam as of today, so you can buy that. I never played the upscaled PS5 version. I did play the PS4 version of the game. I didn't play the Intergrade DLC, though. But I thought the game was really neat. Fun game. Definitely enjoyed it. Now, of course, I'm somebody who never played the original Final Fantasy VII, but this game was cool. I really enjoyed it. Then they went into showing off some mobile games. They showed off Final Fantasy VII, The First Soldier, which is a free game that you can get. Of course, it has the in-app purchases, because why wouldn't it? And then the other one was called Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, which that one is a third-person it's a third-person game. It's pretty cool. For mobile games, they look interesting. They're both for iOS and Android. I'm not going to play them particularly myself, but I could see somebody downloading them and playing them for a little while, Then they went into some merchandise. They showed Final Fantasy VII 25th anniversary vinyl. I'm guessing vinyl record with a lot of different music on it from the Final Fantasy VII games. Um, then they showed off some figures and a cloud statue and some accessories that look like jewelry based on like the bangles and stuff that you could equip to your character to raise their defense and stuff in the games. Stuff like that. I believe one of them kind of looked like a necklace, maybe a bracelet. One looked like a ring that you could put on your finger. They showed some of that stuff off. That stuff is available to pre-order now. I would imagine it's only probably going to be stuff you have to buy from Japan. So depending on who's selling it in Japan, it might not be available in North America. You'll probably have to find a workaround. In that case, I would probably recommend Tokyo Otaku mode, because if it's something that's popular that won't ship out of Japan, they usually handle the product. They will buy up the product as well. They will sell it, and they will ship it overseas. So I'm actually looking into buying a couple of things from them myself, which is why I would say maybe give them a shout. So then they went into I believe their final two announcements, and actually, I might be missing something, but their final two announcements were the biggest ones. Crisis Core Reunion Final Fantasy VII, or Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. I think it's actually called. It's like a remake of the Crisis Core PS1 game. It looks really fucking cool. Action, looks like real-time action RPG. Looks badass. It's coming out this winter, so it'll be out in December. Because obviously winter doesn't start until the end of December, so it'll be out right around Christmas or New Year's. Christmas is on a Sunday this year, so that means the game could come out December 23rd if they want to release it on a Friday, which obviously is after winter starts, or they can hold on to it and release it on December 30th and release it right at the end of the year. Or they can release it on the Tuesday after Christmas. That is also possible. And I say Tuesday and Friday because those are the days that video games, especially big releases, generally always release, either a Tuesday or a Friday. So yeah, the Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion game looks pretty cool. Certainly interested in it. I don't know if I'll buy it, but I'm certainly going to play it. I do have GameFly, so that'll probably be my main way of getting it. The one game I definitely know I'm going to buy, which I am very surprised it's going to come out so soon, is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the remake part 2. This game is going to continue the story where the part 1 remake left off, and it looks really cool. I am very surprised that this announcement and the last one didn't completely break the internet. Because for all the gaming things I follow on YouTube and Twitter and Twitch and whatnot, I have really not seen anybody talk about it, tweet about it, or anything. I was very surprised. Very surprised. But either way, it looks badass. Can't wait to play it. I enjoyed the remake part 1. It's coming out next winter, so it's going to come out early 2023. And that's why I said I'm very surprised that the game's going to come out so soon, especially with Crisis Core Reunion releasing only within a couple of months beforehand. Winter 2023 means that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will come out either January February or sometime in March. If I had to guess, I'm going to say March. March is usually a big month for gaming because that's around the time people get their, at least in America, I don't know about the rest of the world, but March, like the end of February, March is usually the time where us Americans, we get our income tax returns and people are looking to spend money. So if I had to guess, I would say March. And I would not be surprised if there's some kind of collector's edition for this game. I don't remember if there was any kind of collector's edition for Part 1 of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Take a shot, by the way, every time I say that. Or just Final Fantasy VII in general. You'll probably be drunk by the end of the video. So, yeah, guys, like I said, I am surprised the internet didn't break over that announcement, or the last two announcements, really. I'm very surprised Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is coming out so soon. I wasn't expecting it until sometime in 2024, at the earliest. I was not expecting it to come out so soon. But I'm looking forward to it. Looks great. And it's going to be real interesting to play. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of the Game Corner Pocket. Just a couple of things I wanted to go over. Check out the Derailed Podcast every Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Episode 223 is going to be interesting this week. We got some interesting topics. Going to talk about Ezra Miller, and going to be talking about the WWE with Vince McMahon stepping down as the CEO and chairman of the company. While it is only temporary, we will be discussing that and much more on Sunday, so check that out, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Less Than Serious every Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. If you didn't watch the race between myself and Casey is Raw on episode 42 of Less Than Serious from this past Tuesday, I recommend it. It was a damn good show, really fun. Good, solid 3.5 hours we did. It was fun as hell. And Drew and Big Tex on commentary, while Casey and I were playing this game and getting a little frustrated with it, was fucking cool as hell. Definitely check that shit out. Of course, Derailed Podcast, Less Than Serious. Times are every week unless stated otherwise. Check out the Derailed Patreon for $1 a month. You get as much content as we can handle putting there every month. I have a couple of videos coming out this month. At least 2. I'm going to push for 3, but it will definitely be at least 2. We are going to be discussing on the Patreon the Sega Dreamcast, and I'll also be doing something else. Not 100% sure yet. Check that out. You also get the Derailed post show every Sunday night after the main show. The first one on the first Sunday of every month is free. Then the rest of them are $1 a month, as well as the rest of the content out there. You got Off the Reels, which is movie reviews, Strike Sessions, which is just a roundtable discussion on a certain topic, or a one-on-one discussion on anything in general. So, some really good content to look forward to. Go check it out. Links in the description box down below. Also, follow me on Twitch. I know I've been really active on there. That's going to change soon. I'm going to start streaming there again next month. I've had a busy and somewhat aggravating last couple of months, and I haven't really been able to do much with it. So follow me there. I'd greatly appreciate it. Follow me on my social medias, Facebook and Twitter, for all your notifications on when I go live or upload a video. Subscribe to the YouTube channel as well if you're not already. Greatly appreciate it. And if you like gaming news content, hit the like button in this video. Show me you like this kind of content and you want to see more. Anyways, guys, until next time, thanks for watching. My name is The Rose, and I'll catch your ass down the road.